So today, to continue this process of making the Jeep more capable and reliable off-road, we're going to be installing a Synergy heavy-duty tie rod and drag link today, plus a stabilizer flip kit. You can see right here, got the tie rod, the drag link. That's our flip kit. We're putting that on. We're going to be putting that on today. And then I also want to rotate the tires since I got the front two off. I figure I might as well go ahead and rotate the tires. And then I'm going to hopefully change the gear oil in the front and rear diff. It's probably overdue since doing the lockers, but this is when I got time to do it. So hopefully I can get this all done today. I got to drive it to work tomorrow. So if not, I guess I'll be pedaling the bike to work. All right, I got it up on jack stands all the way around. It's kind of hard, I tell you, to get these with the way the gussets were, the gussets and the new LCA skids. It's kind of hard to get the front jack stands on, but I managed to get them on. So now let's get these tires off. All right, so I got all 4 tires off. I'm gonna go ahead and check the torque on all my wheel spacers just to make sure they're all good, and then I'll put the rear tires on and then get it off the jack stand, so that way I don't have to worry about it falling off. But you notice how I put the tires, the 2 front tires underneath the Jeep, so if something did happen, it's not going to fall all the way to the ground. All right, next you'll see I ratchet strap my steering wheel straight because I no longer have a lock. So hopefully this will keep my steering wheel from getting too out of whack. And then the next step will be to come down here and take the steering stabilizer off. I'm going to be relocating that so it's high mounted so that it kind of keeps it out of the way. You can see it. Currently it kind of sits down below the tie rod, so hopefully we'll get that up and out of the way. And you can see I got my rear wheels back on and everything. It's just sitting up on jack stands ready to go. First you take that bolt out right there. Then I'm going to take this one off. You can see where it has rub. There's a few spots where I definitely made contact with the ground. Luckily this is a plastic sheathing. It's good to get this moved up. You can see all the rocker ash on the stock tie rod. We'll get that all changed out, get new shiny parts. Alright, so now that we got steering stabilizer off, we can go ahead and pull the tie rod off of each side. So I think it's a 21 millimeter. Let me go ahead and get that off. All right, so you can tell the new versus old. The Synergy, it's definitely a little bit heavier. I ain't gonna say it's a lot heavier, but it's definitely got some weight to it. You can see where this is all kind of cast into a pinch. This is all one solid piece. So I definitely think this is gonna be better than the stock. So next I gotta pull a drag link off, and let me tell you, this came off a lot easier than I'm used to stuff coming off of vehicles lately. So that was a good thing. Let's go on to the next one. All right, so the first step for removing the drag link would be to pull this out, 21 millimeter socket, and then come over to this side, and you gotta pull that bolt out, that nut, take that nut off. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect my sway bar so I can get this sway bar up out of my way. And I'm gonna have to use a wrench on this and probably like a pickle fork, kind of pop that out of there. All right, so 21 millimeter socket, or wrench, because you ain't got no clearance in here for really any other tool. And I'll end up using another wrench as a cheater. Pull that off. Having quick disconnect sway bar links really helps on this one. Save me a step of having to unbolt those. And then I got my pickle fork and my BFH, and we're going to try to knock that out of there. So let's see how this goes. One thing I left out is I take this off, but then I put it back on just loosely so that the drag link won't just drop off, and kind of helps me with that angle down there. Well, as you can see, I left that nut up there so it wouldn't fall. I was able to get it off, pretty much destroyed that boot in the process. I think I needed a pickle fork just a little bit wider so it would have slipped over that better. But it got off in the end, and I'm not reusing it. Might be something to keep around for emergency use, but it's all getting new parts, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, here's the difference. Here's the stock versus Synergy drag links. You can tell they're just crimped on there. These are fully welded, and I like to use these castle nuts instead of just a nut. But we're gonna get these put on. I gotta do some adjustments, and then we'll get it put on there. Next step. All right, so the next step in this process is I'm gonna take this bolt out that holds the lower end of the track bar in. So what it does, it's gonna get replaced by this bolt. That's gonna hold my new steering stabilizer. And we're gonna end up reusing this flag nut here. So I'm gonna replace this, and then I can go ahead and pull this mounting bracket off, the old bracket for the stabilizer. I'm not gonna be using this anymore. All right, so I got that in. Still got to torque it down, but it worked fine with the JKS adjustable track bar. You'll look real fast. You can see the Artec axle trusses, gussets, and I also got the LCAs on here. I did all that when I got my lockers put in. And then you can also see another part of the steering upgrades is the Synergy sector shaft brace. It's on here. Really did notice a difference. It feels like I got more, you do feel like you have more feeling in the steering. It's not as vague as it used to be. So it's just part of the upgrade. It's supposed to help keep, because that's been known to break, is that shaft breaks off and shatters this steering box for some extreme off-roaders. So hopefully that'll help me in that area. While I'm under here, I didn't want to not mention the Moto built diff covers. Already got some scratches. I need to touch up paint. And you can see under here the Quadratec skid plates. They've already taken a little bit of a beating and gotten scratched up. But they're holding up pretty good so far. And then that's a cold case radiator. That's been pretty good. I probably need to pull the grill off and give it all a good washing under there. But they've been great ever since I replaced it. I had the stock radiator was just pouring fluid out of it. You also have to remember to walk Jack the Jeep dog every once in a while, or he'll relieve himself in the house. Or chase kids running around. This is Jack's new thing. He likes to grab the leash and run with it. Alright, so this side is the one that goes to the knuckle, and that side goes to the pitman arm. You can see it's got the adjuster sleeve. According to the instructions, this is pretty much supposed to be sunk in all the way on a Sport or Sierra. So that's right there, it's bottomed out, so I have to back it off so that it's parallel. And now we're gonna go put it on the Jeep and see how it fits and what we need to adjust. Alright, so I got that in there with the new castle nuts. I still gotta torque it down to 55 foot-pounds. Not going to be able to torque that down there, but I'll just have to run it down so I can get the castle nut to line up with the hole. Kind of get close. So you can see the new track bar installed. I'm going to have to do some measurements later, but that's pretty much straight. I will measure it to make sure my toe is right. Alright, so that's 55 foot-pounds, but I'm gonna have to run the nut just a hair tighter to get the castle nut to line up with the hole, as I've I've been told never loosen the line them up, always tighten the line them up. So here we go. Let's get that done. All right, so I'm happy with that. I'll be able to get the cotter pin in there. And I'm just gonna do the same to the other side down there. All right, so on this side, I couldn't get a torque wrench in there. So what I did was I did a thread count on the other one, on the other side, had 4 threads showing. And pretty much this matches exactly to the other side. So I'm gonna get that pin in there and it should be all good. All right, as you can see, the kit comes with new cotter pins, pinch bolts. Comes with a sleeve in case you're doing a drag link flip, which I'm not doing. So we're going to go ahead and get these pins in. And then we got to line that track bar up so that that bar points straight forward. And then we'll get our pinch bolts in and torque down. All right, so that's castle nuts to torque to 55 foot-pounds with the cotter pin in. I got those pinch bolts in with torque to 90 on both sides. You look over here, that cotter pin bend's not quite as pretty as the other one, but it's torque to 55, and those are torque to 90. It's kind of lined up, you can see, with the bend facing forward. It's about as good as I can get. So next thing, I'm gonna go ahead and reconnect my sway bars and then start on the tie rod installation. All right, I got the sway bar quick disconnects, hook back up, JKS Flex Connect. It's been really good. Definitely softens the road on gravel roads so you don't have to disconnect so much. Get that hook back up. You just have a plain old disconnect on this side. Pretty easy to hook back up though. Really easy when the Jeep's perfectly level sitting on jack stands. Okay, so my next step is the tie rods. What I did was I measured from end to end and it came out 59 3/4 on the stock one. So to kind of get me in the ballpark where I need to be on the Synergy one, I went ahead and adjusted this to 59 3/4. According to the instructions, this is supposed to be 4 turns out from full seated. So I got that set up, and then I used the adjuster nut to pull it out to where I needed, and then I'm supposed to line, those grooves with the pinch nut. So this should get me in the ballpark. All right, so I got this tire out on here on the driver's side. I got it installed. I got the pinch bolt torqued to 90. I got that castle nut torqued to 55 with the cotter pin in. Come over here. I left that pinch nut just a little loose, and that's torqued to 55 with the cotter pin. Raised it up. It's sitting fairly level. I did what I could with the adjustments, trying to get the toe set in right. It looks off to me, but I'm gonna get the tires on. That's the next step, is put tires on so that I can do better measurements, because it's kind of hard to get a tape measure through and measure off the brake rotor. All right, I got all that tightened up. Got the tires back on. I got it kind of measured out, the toe measured out. It's about a 1/16 and 1/8 of an inch toe in, but I'm gonna go take it and get an alignment this week. But yeah, it's definitely, I rolled it back and forth in the driveway and it definitely drove up straight. So now I got to work on getting the stabilizer back on. All right, so next I have to drill the holes in the stabilizer to 1/2 inch. I already drilled that one. Now I just got that one left. All right, so I got both my holes drilled out. Here's my clamp that goes on the tie rod. I'm gonna go ahead and get that started. Starting to lose my my sunlight, so I better hurry up. All right, so I got that side on there. I compressed it, and then I'm going to start the engine up and turn full passenger and find out where I need to go. I'll probably back this off just a hair so it's not traveling full. And then I'm going to start it up and turn full passenger. Sorry, I had to take a pause for a quick drone shot of the sunset. All right, so I got it on. It's not torqued down to spec yet. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the engine. I'm gonna move it back and forth a little bit, see if it's binding or anything. You can tell something's taking that pin out. Of course, that pin's too long, so it might be hitting up there. Let's see what happens. All right, everything is done. I got the those bolts are all torqued. That terrible Allen head's torque. Why not give me a good old hex head? You can see right here where that cotter pin was getting hit by that nut right there. That's not the correct cotter pin. I'm gonna get the correct ones. That's just what I had at the time. Everything's installed, all nice and pretty and shiny, all the way over to here. And I'll go get an alignment soon. And you can see where this was sitting down here, so that gives me more clearance. It's nice and clean under there. I didn't mean clean by actual clean, but nice, and everything's tucked. All right, so I'm gonna call for today. The diff fluid's gonna have to wait till tomorrow. But I did get a lot done, got it all installed. I'll probably do a quick test drive around the neighborhood and call it a day. Clean up the garage and get ready for work tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If anybody actually watched this, I appreciate it, and I'll see y'all out there on the trail.